Hello everyone, my name is Brenna. I am the face behind Interactive Brenna, and this is the channel where I am building a choose your own adventure game. So today's video is all about inspiration for narrative. Now, when people are talking to regular writers and authors, everybody thinks that they've got a story idea, and sometimes these are really fleshed out, and then sometimes these are really basic ideas. And for authors, for writers, it is extremely difficult to try and take someone else's vision and make it your own. So for this, I am really just trying to develop my own vision. And how I'm going to start with that is working on my inspiration. So I just want to talk about a couple tools that I love to use. YouTube is the biggest one. I love finding random musics that inspire me. You can find all sort of movie scores and TV scores that give a certain mood or ambiance that can be really inspiring when you're trying to write certain scenes or certain feelings for your characters. So YouTube is super great, not to mention you can find almost anything you need on YouTube. But I also highly recommend Pinterest. It is more so images and short video clips than like musics and sounds or anything like that. But it really works for getting the aesthetic feel of a place. So for example, if I'm working on like a coffee shop location, for example, I could find many images of coffee shops. I could find stools, I could find cups, I could find any ambiance that I want. And part of what I love about Pinterest is that you can actually save all these in certain boards. So what I've actually done for this story is I created my own Pinterest board dedicated directly to it. What I did is I made an overarching board, and then I made a subsections boards, like characters, locations, aesthetics, like cool scene ideas. You mostly just want to try and bring in as much input to create with as you can. It doesn't really matter if you use all of it, but what's important is that you have it in case you need it, so that you're not really having to go back in the middle of the writing process and find more. And if you do end up doing that, it's okay, but it's a lot easier to start with more inspiration than it is to find inspiration partway through, because let's be honest, if you're looking for inspiration partway through, you're probably stuck. You're probably stuck. So Pinterest boards, truly love it. One thing that I definitely think that you should keep throughout your entire inspiration process is a list. I don't know if I'm going to be writing a contemporary, which is like, you know, set in real life, or more of like a fantasy, which is a made-up world. I haven't decided yet. So what I have got going during my whole inspiration process is a research list. Now, if you're going to do a certain place, you're going to want to obviously research that place. If you are going to be doing a certain time period, you'll be researching the time period. You can't be writing a story about the 1800s and have a cell phone in it, can you? I mean, I guess you could if it was sci-fi, but you know, you want to keep on track. So keep a list of stuff to research, and this will probably need to, I don't know, be done right after the inspiration process and before the brainstorming, just because you want to make sure that when you're building your story, you're building it on the correct basis. So you don't want to have to write a bunch of wrongs partway through. So keep a research list. One of the biggest things that I really want to stress when you're working through your inspiration process is that you don't want to just immediately latch to one thing. when you're looking for inspiration, what you want to do is you want to try to find things that are going to lead in multiple directions. In this case, we want our player to be able to choose one thing or the other, but we have to ask ourselves, do we want them to be able to get to the same outcome, or do we want the outcomes to be different? And if you don't want the outcomes to be different, then you have to, you know, play around with the story a little bit more and realize that there are going to be things that are changing. You can't just have one overarching idea if you want two endings. So the best part of the inspiration process is that you can collect all the information you need, create multiple scenarios, multiple possibilities and ideas for your player and your characters. So just try and make a really in-depth inspiration board for yourself, whether it's Pinterest, it's Google Docs, the Notes app on your phone, a vision board you put up on your wall. It really doesn't matter how you choose to do it, but what matters is that you gather everything that you need so that your brainstorming process can go as smoothly as possible. We're going to talk a little bit about the story I'm actually writing and my inspiration for it. So the feel I'm going for is like a crime drama noir sort of feel. So the story is going to incorporate the main character finding a body at the very beginning, and I already know the circumstances that I want to surround like the actual finding and who the body belongs to and stuff like that. But you know, I still have some questions about what I want people to do. Do I want them to work with police? Do I want them to try to be like a solo detective? I'm not sure yet. So that's part of what I'm looking at in my inspiration process, is I want to find if I want my character to be a villain, or should I give my players the option to be a villain or to do what's right? Should I give them a third option that's somewhat in the middle that might be a little bit wrong and a little bit right? I'm not sure. This is part of why the inspiration process is so important to me, because I have an inkling of an idea, a little seed, and I want to grow it into something bigger. If you have a writing group, I highly recommend just sitting, you know, for like an hour and a half and maybe just talking through, you know, some possibilities for your ideas. This probably fits more in the brainstorming section, which I'm going to cover in my next video. I'm going to be going through a little bit more of my ideas for actually putting together the overarching plot. Loose events and scenes I want are going to go in that video, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But right now I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of some of the images I've gathered for inspiration. So here they are. Alright guys, that's all I have today. Please make sure to like and subscribe and follow along for next week's video on brainstorming this story. See you later. Bye.